everybody. Welcome to InPsightRadio. I am your host, Danielle Egnew, and you are a fly on the wall too everywhere. How are you? How is everybody? Are we hanging in there? Are you surviving all the doom and gloom news about the dying crypto market, which isn't dying, by the way? Wait till 2023 hits us. Wow, that sucker's going to take right off. Or the scary stock market and all the... Man, what is with human beings? Why do we gravitate toward all of this weird fear? Like it's going to keep us safe if we ruminate on all the fear. I mean, we need to be in the know, gang, okay? We need to absolutely be aware of what's happening and not be in some bubble someplace, because that's not going to help us. However, I hope that you are keeping your eyes to the skies and your heart light as we go into these very transformational times. And they are transformational. I mean, they're very important and transformational. And I'm getting a lot of questions from people. And some of these questions I've addressed in past podcasts here and there. Yet I really felt this was interesting because I'm receiving a lot of questions from everybody regarding angels. And I'm hearing a lot about angel sightings that people are having. People are writing to me from all over the world, talking about feeling their angels literally in unprecedented ways since I've started this job. And I've been doing this job in a way that's been kind of, out of the psychic closet, so to speak, for 18 years and running. And so when I get an opportunity to start to see all of these questions coming in, I realize that our angelic life is stepping closer to all of us in an attempt to help us out. I mean, we have a lot that's going on in our world right now. There's a lot that's going on with individuals, and it really does get to the point where it's hard for people because they're not sure if angels are with them. They're not even sure they're real. And considering that angels have been co-opted by religious organizations and their identities and their personalities have been taken over and fan-fictioned to death, we do not have the types of beings as angels that are these fluffy, lovey beings that just float around and are going to help us. And I say this all the time. I wish they were more like Roma Downey on Touched by an Angel. There are some off-world guides out there that we call them ETs or alien guides that act a little more like what we might think the Roma Downey angel would act like. God loves ya. What can I do for ya? And I don't know why I'm always giving these angels an Irish accent, a really bad one at that. My apologies to any of my Irish friends listening. But really, it makes me think of Roma Downey in Touched by an Angel. Yet, I've gotten so many angel questions because people's angels are showing up to help them right now because there's a lot of despair. There's a lot of gray area in our socioeconomic outlook. I mean, what's going to happen? Is COVID going to kill everybody? Are we all going to be washed up and marooned on the island of financial ruin? No, that's not going to happen. We are going to go through some rough patches, but I've been talking about this for years, gang, right? We're going to go through some rough patches, given financially, and yes, our markets are wobbling, and, just keep your eye on the middle of February for you market watchers. This is where our crypto and our stocks are just going to start to tick up a little bit, and by the time we're into March, April, they're off like a shot. So it's part of our transition period, and our angels realize that we get really afraid when our creature comforts are threatened. I mean, that's a biological imperative, right? To stay safe. So more and more angel sightings, encounters are being reported. I'm hearing about them from people saying, I think I dreamt about my guardian angel. It was this big column of light. Or I think I felt my guardian angel. I walked out of a convenience store and there were some scary people across the street. And all of a sudden, I felt very peaceful and strong and protected. And for no reason at all, the scary people got uncomfortable and kind of ran away. And I mean, we're seeing more of these angel encounters. We're feeling more of these angel encounters, in part because our ethers are thinning also between the here and the hereafter. But it's also because we need them more and we are calling on them more. And it's always hard to remember that we've got to ask the universe for the help that we want to receive. I mean, I am literally the worst at that. I'm going to admit it. I'm terrible. I wish I was better, yet I'm really good for asking these angels for help for other people. Really, really good. That's second nature. Not as good in asking for myself. And I have to remind myself that, it's not like God only has 6 miracles that God is dividing amongst almost 8 billion people. The universe is an infinite well of opportunity and miracle energy for us. And we've just got to ask, because it creates a platform for that miracle to land. I want you to think about like a helicopter pad, these miracles being able to land as you ask for them. And even I have a hard time doing that. Let me give you an example, all right? And this is a really goofy example, but I'm going to put it right out there in full self-disclosure. So we all know Publishers Clearinghouse, right? The old PCH sweepstakes. And back in the day, you had to collect a bunch of stamps and stick them in the right place and send in a paper thingamy that maybe bought you magazines or maybe didn't or whatever. And somebody won a big sweepstakes. Well, now the PCH, which always reminds me of Pacific Coast Highway. But anyway, PCH sweepstakes are now an app, right? And my birthday is February 28th. I'm going to turn 53 this year. So out of nowhere, I was dinking around and I see on my phone the PCH sweepstakes. And it says, the winner is going to be chosen on February 28th. So I thought, well, what the heck? And it's something like you get $5,000 a week, for the rest of your life. And I immediately say to myself, well, dang, if I was making $5,000 a week for the rest of my life, then I could give away a lot more readings. There's a lot that I could do because I would just have this money there. You know what I mean? It wouldn't be like, oh, gee, I've got to figure out all the things. So I'm playing the PCH sweepstakes, which are not with little stamps anymore. And I kind of really miss that because I grew up in the 70s. S&H green stamps? Bueller? Anybody? Okay. So here I am on this app and I'm playing these games. And basically, who even knows? I'm guessing they must award this prize. Legally, they probably have to. But I'm playing this because it's kind of fun and it's really goofy. And, every time you do a search, you get entered into the sweepstakes. And the more times you search, the more, like for, best hair care product or I don't know what. So I'm playing this thing. And I just decide, I really don't ask for anything. I'm not an asker for myself much because I really feel like I have a blessed life. And I need to ask for more things for myself. I tend to ask the universe for help when I'm feeling really sad. I'll ask angels to come closer to me. I'm a prayer. So however this manifests in your own spiritual practice, okay? I'm just talking about me. So I'll throw a comment out to God and just say, man, I'm really struggling here, or I can feel too much sadness in the world. Can you take some of this away for me? I'm really having a hard time with it tonight, or just whatever. Those things I'll ask for. But creature comforts, what I like to call the Amazon catalog moments, okay? I really don't tend to pray for stuff like that. I don't. I mean, I don't know why. I just don't. So I thought, you know what? This cotton picking thing is on my birthday. And I'm going to go ahead and put out there that I'm going to, I would like to win this sweepstakes. Because if I made $5,000 a week, which is probably, I don't know what, $3,000 after taxes or whatever, but still that's a lot of money. For me, it is. Some of you may make more than that in your jobs. Yet for me, that's a chunk of change. I think probably for most people. So anyway, here's me and I'm playing PCH and I'm saying to the universe, okay, you know what? I would love to win this sweepstakes because then I could give away more of my time and do all these things. Yet even I have a really hard time asking for that because whenever I'm involved in a venture, I can feel everybody involved in the venture. So here's me, and I'm like, okay, if I could do the PCH, then I have more time to write my books. I have more time to give away readings, more time to create my albums and to put these messages out to the universe that I would like to put out. And I love reading for clients. I just run out of time in the day. You know what I mean? So I'm sitting here asking for these things, and then I can feel everybody else who's playing the sweepstakes. I can feel the single mom who is a woman of color, who has 4 kids, and she's working 3 jobs with 0 child support, playing the sweepstakes. And I can feel the grandma that inherited her daughter's children because her daughter is a drug addict and can no longer care for these 3 kids. And the grandma at 70 some years old is trying to raise these kids on Social Security and a fixed income. And I'm feeling everybody who would like to have a chunk of this money. And then I'm just feeling like, why am I even bothering? I mean, there's so many other people out there who could use this money, not for just the mere, gee, I'd like to be able to give back more, but they need it to freaking eat, So, I mean, that's just an example of where I'll kind of run up against my toes will be up against the line if I can feel other people's needs. And I'm thinking, oh man, dude, what are you doing? Playing Publishers Clearinghouse. But anyway, I've made my little entries and, we'll see what happens there. However, what I found in my asking is that I will immediately, because I don't feel that my situation is as dire as a single mom with 4 kids trying to raise them on, $7 an hour jobs. I know my situation isn't that dire. So when I encounter that person's energy, let's just say in the Publishers Clearinghouse pool, I immediately want to take my request to, which is silly. Okay, I'm just using this as a lighthearted example of asking the universe for things. But I immediately want to take my Publishers Clearinghouse request off the table because I don't feel right about asking when I can feel all these people out there who, in my mind, need it more than I do. Now, this is where it gets weird, okay? I need to not do that. I need to say, you know what, universe, if Publishers Clearinghouse is meant for me, bring it. I would love it. I want that. And it could come on my birthday, and I will do amazing things with this money. Rather than feeling guilty about asking for that when I can see other people who I feel need it more, and this was what was brought to my attention, is, although I can feel the desperation energy of these people playing Publishers Clearinghouse. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy what you can feel when you play that thing. I'm thinking to myself, I don't deserve this. I don't need it, all the things. And this awareness, it's not like an angelic voice or anything. An awareness comes over me and says, maybe it is this person's lesson to struggle in this area. Maybe it is their lesson to go to work really hard for their kids and to be selfless and to not, be able to skirt this lesson of, wow, accountability or whatever it is. Because I'm not getting the people's backstories. I'm just getting the desperation and the situation that's driving them to play. But I don't have their whole life path map. I mean, maybe I could probably dig it up if I wanted to. Yet, it's an interesting thing. The whole point of this, in spite of, it being slightly ridiculous, is to talk about why we don't feel like we are okay to ask the universe for something. And so I put it out there. Hey, universe, yeah, I want to win this thing on February 28th for my 53rd birthday. How cool. And I would be able to do so many cool things if I wasn't worrying about overhead every month, or how we do. Not that I'm really worrying about it. However, it'd be nice to not even think about it, So the point that is being brought through here is not, you could be better than somebody else to win something. It's that we shut ourselves down in asking for things because we just do not understand why we would deserve them in a certain way. I mean, I look at my life and I feel pretty blessed. I'm an average middle-class American person. We live in a 3-bedroom house. We don't own our house. We rent our house. It's a cute house. And we've got some decent 4-wheel drive cars. Nobody's driving a Mercedes, although, hey, rock on if you got one. I used to drive one. They were great. And so, I don't have a bad existence. Yet for me to sit here and bargain with the universe about what I do and don't deserve is a form of limitation consciousness. You see where I'm going with this? Even though, I mean, it is nice to have a conscience, and if somebody needs something more than we do, I think it's nice to let them have it if you are aware of it. Yet to be able to say, I would like this, and if it's meant for me, I'll take it. I'll take it. You bet. Because I would like to have it. If it's not meant for me, give it to whoever, but I sure would like it. And so when we start thinking about the miracles in the universe and the fact that we don't have just one big fat ask, it really opens us up to asking for more help. Now, we're not always going to get what we ask for. I mean, universe isn't Santa Claus. It's not Amazon. Yet we are going to establish a relationship where we are trusting the universe to truly bring to us that which we really actually need. And again, going back to the PCH analogy, which is weird, but part of that was, well, you don't really know what these people's stories are. You just feel the desperation, and you're really kind of judging their situation. And that's not cool either, And so I find this so fascinating. So, you guys know that I've been working on this show, Road Angel, for a really long time. And we're still rolling on that. COVID has made it very difficult to do anything. There's a lot of networks that have decided they aren't going to take certain programming, that we're going to take certain programming. In 2021, production money ran out. So, I mean, you've got all kinds of real life things that you're dealing with, and we're trying to get a pilot edited to go back to the state of Montana. And all the things that's trying to happen right now because we got a grant from the state to put towards the pilot from the film office. So, I mean, there's all these things that are churning. And there's so many small pieces in our lives attached to what we want or desire that if we get too bogged down in the weeds with it, we forget to ask for the bigger picture. And so I was in my kitchen today talking to a friend about this. And I went to say, this is silly. I'm going to ask the universe that the universe find a place for Road Angel, find us the perfect network, find us the perfect production partner, because we do have a production company that made it, and get out there and get this show on the road because it brings through such tremendous, powerful lessons for people. To watch these angels work through people's lives is amazing. And for those of you that have had personal readings, I mean, come on. There have been times where we'll be in a session together and these angels are working and people are crying. And I mean, if you can imagine seeing that on a global scale, who would that inspire, right? Maybe that person who's at the very end of their rope and they're seeing a miracle happen for somebody else, or they're seeing somebody's deepest, awful secrets aired out there. So when we're thinking about asking the universe for something, I literally asked the universe today. I said, universe, bring Road Angel to completion. Get this show a home. Let's get this thing on the air ASAP. That's what I really desire. That's what I really want. I want to get this healing out where everybody can see how you work. I want to be this fulcrum for this information out there. Now, here's something interesting. So while I'm asking this, because we're talking about, all these angels coming forward to help people this year, asking for the help that you need. I grew up pretty standard American Christian, right? And so when you say a prayer or ask the universe for something, what do? Well, you bow your head and maybe you clutch your hands. And every time I was bowing my head to put this petition out there, just to say, hey, I really would like this show to go. Keeping in mind, everybody, that this is not the normal request I would make. Normally, I'm praying for the world. Normally, I'm praying for people who are human trafficked to get back to their families. I mean, these are the petitions I generally put out. But here I am asking for help on Road Angel because this is an amazing show. And we've kind of pushed it as far as we can push it without some help here. So I kind of realized that as my head is kind of looking down in pre-serious position here, that I feel blocked in that. So it didn't feel good. So I had my eyes closed and I kind of rolled my head back up like I was looking at the ceiling, but my eyes were closed. And I put my palms up and I opened up my heart chakra, my chest, and I put that same petition out there. And it felt totally different. It no longer felt like this thing that I was praying for, like a laundry list or a shopping list, or that God was Santa Claus and can I please have a pony when I'm 7? It felt like I connected my purpose on this earth with the universe, is what it felt like. When I had my face up and my heart out and my palms up, like I was going to give somebody who was 6'6" a hug, who's a little taller than me. And that's when it really hit me that universe is with us all the time. And when we open our heart chakra, we open up our hands, we open up the crown, we're connected to that so profoundly. And it no longer felt like a petty ask. You know what I mean? Come on, gang. Have you ever asked the universe for something and you think to yourself, oh, this really feels like something petty. This really feels like it's going to be, But as soon as I lifted my face up, I connected with purpose. Okay. Now everybody's different. Everybody has their own meditative purposes and they have their meditative practices. And really, the Jewish religion prays with their face up and their palms up. They don't do the bow your head, clasp your hands. I mean, if you think about it, you clasp your hands, you're plugging up the chakral points in your palms that are supposed to be exhibited upwards. If you bow your head, I mean, you've got the back of the crown, but you got the third eye and the crown's kind of shooting forward weird. You're crunching up your throat chakra there. If you're bowing your head and you're clasping your hands in front of you, you're closing your heart chakra. You're squishing that area. So asking for what we need and doing so in a way that makes us organically feel like we're connected to the universe, because we are, but finding the physical position for you to ask these angels for help, or you to ask universe for help, or the ethers, or God, or the lucky rabbit's foot, or whoever you talk to, okay, the higher self, however you look at this, it makes a difference. So I was putting out, you know what? Yay, place road angel as soon as possible with the best option to get it out to people. And gang, I'll tell you something. I don't care if that's YouTube, kids, Gen Z, millennials, they watch more YouTube than they do the freaking TV. I don't care if it's a network. I don't care where it goes, just as long as those messages get to be seen by millions and millions and millions of people. And it's not because I need to be seen by millions and millions of people. I mean, I'm very, very blessed with already being seen by lots and lots and lots and lots of people. So it's not about that. It's not some weirdo ego need. The messages need to get out to all these people. And it's such a timely show. So, when we're talking about angels being around everybody, and I just had lots of clients this week, clients from Istanbul, from Italy, clients from Boston, clients from New York, clients from Santa Fe, clients from all over the place, all over the world, talking to me, here in Montana even, talking to me about this last year actually physically seeing angels. And angels appearing to them. Sometimes they look traditional with the wings. Sometimes they're just big columns of light. And that's because the universe is saying, hey, ask for some help. It's like a relay runner. And you have to get and tag the relay runner before that relay runner can really take off. So we're constantly petitioning the universe or asking the universe for help every day. You have to consciously do it and take a break out of your day and ask for what you need. Remember, the universe isn't going to morally weigh you against someone else. We do that, like my PCH story. We do that, okay? The universe is going to look at what's due for you in your life plan. If it's meant for you, it's going to be dropped on your head. If not, it'll rotate to somebody else. Don't tell yourself no. And it's not even that the universe tells us no when we don't get exactly what we want. It's not that. Yet don't tell yourself no by not even asking. And isn't it funny? We fight through these guilt feelings. So our angels are showing up to come closer to us, they're messengers, to help us with the confidence to ask universe to co-partner in miracles with the universe. It's a pretty amazing system. And when I look at how it works, it blows my mind away. It really does. And so people are kind of unclear on how angels work. Because if you read in the Bible, they're not the loveliest, fluffiest things. Oftentimes they're short-tempered with humanity. They're irritated. They've been sent to do a job. They're not here to give us a hug. They're saying, listen to me. I'm sent by your God. God wants you to do this. If you don't, you'll be destroyed. Peace out. I'm going home. I mean, and I could just hear these angels' tone is like, oh, I have to go talk to the mud monkeys again. Okay, here we go. The Lord your God demands your attention. If you do not do these things in your best interest, your life paths will go up in smoke. Gotta go. That's an angel. Now, our individual angels that walk with us on our life path, our higher functions, our heart, they're a little more people-oriented because that's their job, so they're not quite that droll. But they can kind of be droll comparatively. It doesn't mean they don't want to help us and they don't want to love us. They're just in the business of attaching the most efficient life plans to our most needed to learn lessons. Our most efficient life plans to our most needed to learn lessons. And then they can't make us make those choices, but they're sure trying. They're trying to weigh in with feelings. They're trying to give us little whispers of, oh, don't do that. That's really a bad idea. Don't do the milk carton challenge. It's bad. Oh, there goes your collarbone. Oh. So, I mean, they're trying all the time to help us out. We're just sort of receptive sometimes and not very receptive a lot of the times. So I've been receiving questions about angels. Lots and lots of questions about angels. And so I thought that I would kind of just go over some of these with you guys because, I'm getting so many questions on angels lately because of the big appearance of them as of late. I have people worried that the world is going to end and that's why they're seeing angels. The world is transitioning and one form of it is going to terminate. Thank God it needs to. Yet it's going to keep going. Humanity is going to keep going. Society is going to keep going. It's just kind of up to us about the kind of society we want to make it through the keyhole here. So one of the questions I get a lot is, do angels love? Yeah, they do. They do love. They don't love in the same way we do, though. Okay? You got to remember, gang, we are human beings. We are big bags of salt water wandering around full of chemicals. And our spirit communicates with our flesh by firing little electric sparks in our brain that let go of chemicals, and those chemicals cue our body to feel something. So our spirit is feeling in a different way that our body is feeling. Yet our spirit communicates through those electrical synapses in the mind to release a chemical to cue the body that we're feeling in a certain way. So there are many ways in which we feel very much the same. We experience the same spiritual emotions as angels. Angels just don't have the body to fire off the chemicals. Now, this is where it gets kind of dicey. When you're firing off those chemicals, you can go off your freaking nut. You can go crazy. You can go mad and, dive out of a building with despair, or you can find out something about your loved one that maybe somebody cheats on you and you lose your mind. And thank God there's not a gun in the house because you just black out and you go crazy with all the chemicals that are flooding your body. Angels never go through that. They never go through the lose control of the self because there's no need to control the self. There is no variance. They are perfect love and power energy that is Bluetoothed to perfect love and powerful universal energy. They don't have the lessons that are like, but I have to push the, whatever so I can learn. That's not their lesson. So yes, angels love. They love in the same way that our pure spirit loves before it hits our chemical bag and can bring us up or down, depending on where our brain goes, okay? So yeah, we do have that in common with them, yet they love in a non-reactionary way. They love in a very consistent way. They love in a way that's just like this giant floodlight on your face. There's no throttle to it. It's just pure love and intention. So they do love. We in a human suit are not necessarily going to recognize how that love may feel past a feeling of unbelievable, overwhelming peace or unbelievable, overwhelming. We do have that overwhelming love feeling that'll wash over us. And then that energy will trigger an overwhelming love feeling in our brain to release the love chemicals to the body. And pretty soon we're just sobbing because it's just so overwhelming. So yes, they do love. They just don't lose their crap like we do and have passionate outbursts like we do that are really chemically related rather than love related. Okay. So hopefully that answers, do angels love? Which actually leads me to another question. Is my angel my twin flame? Now, people, folks, humans, I know dating gets a little rough. I know there's a lot of variance right now. My 17-year-old daughter came home and explained to me what furries were. If you don't know what it is, look it up because I don't want to talk about it. Dating can get weird and it can get hard to find the person or people. Oftentimes it's more than one person, but there's a person who's going to stand out in our life path that's really meant for us at that time. Now, people get tired of dating and people can attach themselves spiritually to spirit guides. They can feel their angels and that angel is safe. That angel is not going to harm you. That angel loves you. That angel is your partner in crime. That angel's been fused to your spirit since it was created. You might have a million lives that you've spent with that same angelic group. So the angel is really safe. Yet angels are not going to partner with us in a romantic way. That's, again, gang, remember, we are mammals, okay? And yes, love is a spiritual thing. Of course it is. Of course it is. And yes, angels love. Yet the carnal needs that human beings have, angels aren't going there. They don't live in a chemical body with hormone swings and all the things that we have. So no, it is unlikely to impossible. I don't want to say impossible. That's ridiculous. But really, your angel is not going to be your twin flame. The person that's meant for you is a person. And I've had people get real upset with me when they're like, no, I know my angel is my love. And my angel, basically has sex with me and does these things. I'm like, that's actually an incubus or a succubus. That's a different type of elemental energy or spirit energy. And you might want to look at that because, I always figure I would not personally be comfortable having sex with something I couldn't see. Now, that doesn't mean you can't. And there's a lot of people comfortable doing it, and that's fine. Yet your angel is not going to be the thing that would be stimulating your body sexually, just so you know that. That goes into a whole nother thing, like rabbit hole of things. And yes, sometimes you do find human beings that have a life mate from another life in a spirit form that will come back and try to interface with them physically. That's exceptionally rare. Okay, way rare. And if you're somebody who's experienced that, I am by no means making fun of you or poo-pooing your experience. Not at all. I'm just saying for most human beings out there, your angel is not your twin flame. They're your guardian angel. Totally different deal. If something's hitting you up in the middle of the night to get busy and you're enjoying it, rock on. However, it will not be your angel. That's just not what angels do. That's not what they do. So, yeah. That's an interesting question, but it's very easy for us to go to a fantasy place of my twin flame as my angel because I don't want to date anymore because people showed up to my date in a furry costume and now I have to go take a silkwood shower because I will never get that out of my consciousness again. And I will never meet somebody online again. I get it. But just know, gang, your angels are your emotional support, spiritual support. They're not our life partner support, okay? And I very much encourage you to get back out there. Your angels wouldn't know what to do with us anyway, romantically. They're not even wired for that. They're like, what? What are you doing? That's odd. What are you doing in that strange position? Okay, well, do your thing. You're an animal. Gosh, you got to reproduce. Do your thing. Do angels have names? Yes, they do. They're not English names. People have said to me, well, can't you just sound it out? They're tonal. They're tonal. It sounds like a whale call over tinklies, over some kind of chimes, sort of lower wind chimes, over some kind of Tibetan bowl sounds. That's their name. Regrettably, I'm not that good and I cannot translate that into Bob, Dick, or Harry, or Janet for you. So you can feel your angels. And if you would like to give your angel a particular name, it's super happy to go by whatever name you call it. Just don't call it late for dinner. Yes, they do have names. They are not in English. They are tonal. They're gorgeous. And they are not offended if you want to assign your angel a name, because they understand that we do have a need for personification. We do have a need to give something a name or a face or an identity so we can relate with it. It's part of our special development. So they're not offended. You can call it whatever you want. Just know that as much as I'd love to, I'm not going to be able to translate their name for you. That's, even though I'm a musician and a composer, that's still way above my pay grade. And my vocal cords just don't work like that. I'm sorry. So this one I get a lot. Do angels watch me in the bathroom if they are with me all the time? Well, technically, yes, but you got to remember they're not pervy creepers, okay? Going back to is my angel my twin flame? They're not getting sexually stimulated because they don't have the bodies or the mammalian outlay that we do. So yeah, they know you're in the bathroom, but to them, it doesn't matter. I mean, they're not paying attention to what you're doing. I get questions, do my angels watch me have sex? Well, they don't watch you. That would be kind of boring for them. And plus they're doing other things. They're aware that's happening, but they also see that as part of our learning cycle, our life cycle, our health cycle. Sexual activity is part of a health cycle when it's done in a healthy way, right? So, I mean, they just see that as part of our mammalness and they let us be. So don't weird out. Angels aren't perverts. They're not. If you feel like something's staring at you in the shower, that's probably a former human spirit. We have some elemental spirits that'll do that. Sometimes you get weird demonic life that'll do that because it just wants to make you uncomfortable. It doesn't want you sexually either. It just knows it makes you uncomfortable, so that's why it's doing it. But no, not your angel. They're not peepers and they're not creepers. So do know that. Now, here's an interesting thing. I get this question a lot, so I wrote it down. If demons are bad and they were angels, can angels turn bad? That's a fascinating question. You know, I've never known an angel that went to the dark side. I think that if we were to go with the classic biblical story of angels turning bad, then it seems as though that what choice you were going to make, you know, kind of, are you on the north, or are you on the south? When here comes the big Mason-Dixon line spiritually. If one were to go with the traditional Christian biblical story about the angels falling and all the things, I think that choice was made a long time ago. But if we get out of that modality, you know, for my friends who are Muslim or Hindu or don't adhere to any religion, it seems that the demons, they're made up of the same thing that angels are made up of, yet they have a different purpose. And at this point, my observation, and I could be wrong about this, it's not like I had a conversation with God and said, hey, can angels turn bad? Yet the angels that I interface with all the time on behalf of human beings, these angels are not, they're not challenged by temptation like human beings are. So it's not like, ooh, if I go be bad, this is going to be more fun than being good. They're literally created and are super happy fulfilling the functions they're fulfilling, which are being part of a light scaffold or a light quantum field. They're not looking for how to tempt fate, or these are human things. So I don't think we can really wrap our brain around something that's not tempted to do something naughty. You know, these are human issues. Angels aren't human. Really, the biggest thing we have in common with them is our ability to love and our need to protect those who cannot protect themselves. That's literally the biggest thing we have in common with our angelic life. So, no, angels don't just turn bad. I've had a lot of really interesting discussions with rabbi friends of mine, Christian pastor friends of mine, Buddhist Lama friends of mine, different Taoist friends who really, and again, Buddhism and Taoism aren't really religions, they're more modalities of being. Hindu friends, just talking about the idea of dark beings and going bad. So no, your angels not going to turn bad on you. They don't have that compunction. Demons are demons. Angels are angels. They have roles to play. They are hardwired to that vibrational fabric of the universe they live in. So if I'm an angel, I respond to higher vibration areas, doing higher vibration things. And if I'm a demon, I'm attracted to lower vibration areas and lower vibration things. It's just kind of the way it is. Like if you're a deep sea 7-gill shark, you're at some ridiculous depth below the water, like 3 miles deep. You can't even hardly survive up on the surface because your body is made to withstand all that pressure. So yeah, your angels aren't going to just turn bad and deceive you and all of a sudden turn into a little Lucifer and take off with all of your Halloween candy and leave you with only those weird, hard wrap candies that nobody actually eats, because that's what a demon would do. I'm just saying. Okay, so other questions that I've got here. How can you tell an angel isn't an alien? Now, I think that is a fascinating question. And I'm glad that was brought up, actually, because angels are very high vibration creatures. Again, they're not people. Angels aren't people. They don't come down and live in human bodies. And I mean, there's some very, very rare occasions where that happens, but it's not really a thing enough to worry about unless they're just bailing you out of a ditch or, all of a sudden appear and here's this guy who looks like a priest with really white shiny teeth and he's super strong and he flips the car off of you and you're laying in the ditch going, how did this priest flip this car off of me? And then you turn around and he's gone. They'll borrow human bodies for things like that, like to be super priest. That's an angel thing. But as far as aliens and angels, we talk a lot about the off-world community on this podcast. And it's because obviously, gang, we are not the only forms of life in the universe, people. That would get really awkward and weird and defy all mathematical odds ever created in any multiverse. So not only are we not the only life, we're a very specific kind of life when I look at human beings in relation to all the life in the cosmos. And in terms of a life form, the human body is a majestic, amazing miracle. It really is amazing, okay? When you compare it to the body of a Pleiadian, some of the folks who are out from the Pleiades, and you'll know the Pleiades as the Subaru logo, the Seven Sisters. So if we look at a human being compared to the body of, say, a Pleiadian, we are so different that we're going to look a little primitive. Now, granted, the human body is a miracle of evolution. It's amazing. It heals itself. It can grow babies. I mean, if you're a female, it's pretty amazing things that are within the human body, billions of cells working together. Yet when you look at a Pleiadian body, it is a light being. And its system is so developed that if a Pleiadian wants to whip together a corporeal or a physical body, it can by simply slowing down its light body enough to be corporeal or solid. Yet Pleiadians don't chew their food. We chew our food. Give me a great big old juicy steak and I am one happy enchilada, okay? So we chew our food. And that food gets broken down by acids in the stomach and then gets broken down through our bloodstream and absorbed through our intestines. And then we poo. We urinate. We have waste products. The Pleiadian body does not have any waste product because it is a being of light and they absorb light as a food source. That's what really gets them going, so to speak. So, I could go on and on about the physiology of Pleiadians, but that's not exactly the podcast. It's just to say that as a light being, Pleiadians can be mistaken as angels. Are angels aliens? No, they are not. Are there alien species or off-worlder species that can be mistaken for angels? Yeah, there's a ton of them. And in some of our older Middle Eastern cultures, Sumeria, Egypt. Looking at these cultures, Constantinople, back in the pre-Iran days, all of these very ancient places were occupied by extraterrestrial beings that the indigenous people who are human thought were gods or angels because they were glowy or their skin glowed. In the case of the folks from Sirius AB, the Syrians that came down and helped build the pyramids, those really tall dudes who were kind of humanoid looking. And then we had human beings rubbing just obliterated gold all over their skin to glow like the folks from Sirius. Well, the folks from Sirius have a different kind of dermis than we do, and it is shiny. So we're trying to emulate them by rubbing gold all over us, trying to look beautiful and, shiny like our folks from Sirius, except we would plug up all of the pores in our body and die. A lot of those high priestesses would die because they would suffocate because their skin was packed with dusty gold trying to shimmer like a Syrian would. So, and I don't mean people from Syria, Syria. I'm talking about Sirius, the Sirius star system. So are angels aliens? No. Yet, if you think about an angel, that if you were to read in the Quran or you're to read in the Bible, a more traditional, at least from that perspective, account of an angel, a bright light and this bright being descends down and has a message from God and all the things. Really, at that point, it's easy to see why people can think angels are aliens. Yet remember, especially when we're dealing with all the life in the universe, it's not a zero-sum total game. It's not binary. It's not either or. You know that old saying, an apple is a fruit, but not all fruits are apples. So no, angels are not aliens, although there are ETs or off-worlders that can be mistaken for aliens. In fact, in my readings, when I'm translating for these beings, and keeping in mind, gang, I'm a translator, okay? So my job is to pick up, like a ham radio, different energetic frequencies and just translate what's on that frequency. Angels come in at an extremely high vibration, very, very high vibration. And as they're coming in this very, very high vibration, so do Palladians in their natural format. And Palladians can come in on a different light spectrum. They can appear to be what I like to call avatar blue, that kind of like I swim in the Caribbean blue color. I mean, that's the best way I can describe it. Palladians, if they are choosing a non-corporeal form, look like columns of blue light with this massive consciousness that has these big conversations. And sometimes that light can coalesce into a face if you need it to, yet other Palladians don't need a face because they can feel and see and be, and they're part of the all. And Palladians will oftentimes work in close concert with angelic life to help people. Because the Palladian, you got to remember when you're talking about our corner of the universe, which is infinitely vast, and it's only our vibrational universe. There are multiverses in other universes, and that just blows the mind. Yet in our corner of the universe, when I observe it, the Palladian folk have been around a really long time. I mean, millions of years old, if not billions of years old, is that civilization. And when you look at the folks from Sirius, they originally migrated out of the areas around the Seven Sisters. And when we are looking for planets with the Hubble telescope, and we're looking for an M-class planet that's like Earth, a lot of what lives out there does not live in such a delicate environment. We're a really fragile species, gang. I don't think human beings understand quite how fragile we are. You look at the folks on Sirius, they're bigger than we are. They don't require the type of oxygen intake that we do. They have a different bone structure that we do. Or if you can call it bones, there's bones, but they're different. They're not all chunked up with calcium. They're made of different molecules, really. So when we're looking at the human species, I mean, you hold us underwater for 90 seconds and we die. Geez, don't give us water for 3 days. We're dead. We're either too much water or too little water. It'll kill us. We have to breathe or we die. We're very fragile. We're a very fragile species. I mean, even here on Earth, if we're born and we don't have immediate care, we die. It's not like a baby horse that'll kind of wobble around for a minute trying to find its mama and maybe have a shot if it can find another mama. I mean, we'll just literally lay there bald and weird and unable to walk or eat or chew and poop ourselves to death and die. We're not a very hardy group of beings. I mean, even on Earth, when you look at tardigrades, and you got to look up tardigrade. If you don't know what they are, I'm obsessed with these things. They are so interesting. They're these tiny, teensy-weensy, little tiny microscopic creatures they kind of look like a poofy little bear with 8 legs. And these things can get frozen for millions of years, thaw out, and live. Okay? I mean, so when you're talking about creatures on Earth, human beings, we're not the strongest ones. So when we think about aliens and humans and angels, really there's a big difference between the bag of chemicals known as a human and the column of light known as a Palladian, and the beings of this extremely high vibration and quantum fabric known as angels. Yet I can see very clearly how some people could definitely confuse angels and aliens. I get that. And if you think about, the passage in the Bible, Ezekiel saw a wheel way in the middle of the air, a wheel in a wheel, and these beings came down. And to me, that really does sound a lot more like a craft that came from Oturan or any of these other worlds that are out from our perspective out by Orion's belt. There is no Orion's belt, actually. It just looks like that from our view. So, I mean, I get how people could think that, but no. Angels are angels, folks. They are not aliens. Yet aliens have visited the planet and people have confused them with angels. How's that? So, looking at more of these questions, I'm looking at my questions of what if my angel is actually a demon? Now, we kind of covered this, except this question is in a different light. I've had a lot of people writing, especially on TikTok, and saying, I have a guide. It's very compassionate, but it identifies itself as a demon. And, this gets a little dicey because the nature of demons is not compassionate. I mean, they can snow you for a while and make you think they're compassionate for a minute while you trust them from here till Sunday, but then they're going to turn around and they're not going to be compassionate at all. I mean, they're going to use and abuse you and eat your fear, and that's just what they do. It's not personal. It's just what demons do. So, if you want to say you have a guide that's a demon, knock yourself out. If that is something that's working for you and it seems to make sense to you, that's awesome. Yet a demon, your angel won't secretly be a demon. That would be a different being altogether. You might have an elemental being that like the jinn. The jinn are, people say jinn are demons. No, jinn are not demons. Jinn are elemental beings that are really complex. And I mean, they are a very complex spiritual being, yet they fall into the elemental category. So this is why if you have a jinn in your house and you think it's a demon and you get a priest in there to exorcise it, the jinn isn't going anywhere. It's looking at that priest like, what are you doing with your flappy water and that funny little parrot suit you're wearing there? That's crazy. So, it's one of those things where we get our beings deeply confused. Yet angels are pretty straightforward. They are powerful. They are coming up and showing themselves more and more because we in this incarnation, we need help. We need help in this incarnation. And if we don't get the help we need, there's almost 8 billion of us, we're going to be in some trouble, right? So be okay to ask for the help you'd like to receive. Your angels are powerful. They are big. They are willing to help you. They will help you. Don't be afraid to tell people if you see one. Don't be worried you're being deceived. It's actually a demon, but it's showing up like an angel. Yeah, demons can't really pull that one off because only angels feel like angels. Angels feel like power. They feel like peace. They feel like the ultimate provisional love that'll make your eyes just water up because it's so overwhelmingly gorgeous. Have you ever had that experience? where something is so overwhelmingly beautiful that you're just brought to tears by it. That's how angels feel. They also give you a sense of well-being, like everything's going to be okay. It's okay. This is how they show love. And yes, sometimes and oftentimes and a lot of times, angels are major butt kickers, but we're not seeing the butt kicking part. Okay, we're just feeling what they are, and we're feeling again, because they have to, their vibrational spirit body has got to vibrate into our spirit body. Then our spirit goes into our brain, turns into electrical synapses, creates chemicals that communicate with our body to say, this is what I'm experiencing. So we have a chemical translation process that the angels don't have. Yet it doesn't mean that they're still not sending those love feelings or those protection feelings or the it's going to be okay feelings. And they do, like I said, sometimes they pop up in a human form just for a second to get something done, and then they're on the way. So I encourage everybody who hears this podcast to get out there and keep your eyes open for the things that you ask for. All right? Remember to ask the universe for something. Try not to make a value judgment on it. It's wonderful, of course, if you think someone else deserves it more than you. Most of us think that. Yet simply asking for it, there's nothing wrong with that because there are 10 quadrillion miracles available for everybody. And most of us, quite honestly, ask for help for others before we ask for ourselves. Yet there's got to be a balance in asking for ourselves as well. And I know that's super uncomfy. It's uncomfortable for me. Yet even I have to learn to do it because I'm part of the human family down here. And recognizing that we do not need to be in limitation is something that is so important for all of us. And when I limit myself and I think, oh no, I'm not deserving of that. Well, maybe I'm not. Yet the universe will make sure it doesn't come to me if it's not meant for me, for God's sake. So I don't need to be judgy. I don't need to do God's job. I'll let the universe sort that out. And like I said, gang, remember, most of us are busy asking for all kinds of things for other people and not ourselves. And it's not about asking for yourself. It's about being open to the fact that you are willing to receive help. Are you hearing me here? Asking for help is not even necessarily about achieving what you wish you would achieve. It's about being able to ask for the help that you would like to receive. I mean, and when we don't receive help, gang, this really cuts our angels off at the knees, so to speak, because they are really literally waiting on our free will and waiting for big doorways to be open and waiting for our willingness to co-create miracles with them, really. And when we're too busy being over here like, oh, no, or we test the universe, that's another one. Man, let me tell you something about angels. And let me tell you something about the universe. If you want to test the universe to see if it's real, the universe will just let you test and test and test and test because it's real. The universe has no reason to prove its existence to you. Okay? So I've known people that are like, I want to meet my soulmate, but I'm not going to leave my house. We'll just see if universe brings it to me. That energy says I am not putting myself out there. Ergo, universe will not match that. I will not put myself out there. Energy with anybody, especially if it's angry and bitter and trying to test the universe. It's not because God is angry. It's because it defies physics. I mean, if all I'm doing is being angry and expecting the universe to prove to me through my bitter, jaded, brokenhearted, whatever, that it's there, it's not that the universe has an ego and doesn't want to prove itself. It's that it cannot match that energy signature with anything except for abstinence, because like attracts like in the spiritual universe. So when somebody's bitter and angry and they're testing the universe and they never want to leave their house, but they want a job to come to them, but they're not going to reach out and call a recruiter because they're too good for that. And somebody should reach out to them, because if the universe is really trying to help them, they'll find them under, I don't know, the inner sanctum of the inner mountain hall that they're living in like a troll. I mean, it defies my logic. Yet, if a person is putting out that much resistance energy, the universe is obligated to meet it with resistance. And oftentimes, even in the midst of the like attracts like moments of prove it to me universe or prove it to me angels, which doesn't prove anything, we just draw to us that which we are frustrated about. Even in the middle of all of that, universe is still going to be trying to show us other little goodies and candles and yummies and little lights along the way. But we're so busy, again, being, Hall of the Mountain King troll in the middle of our dank, strange inner mountain hovel, just mad at the world because the world won't come find us. I mean, the ultimate emotional entitlement, right? And then we're mad at the universe because the universe isn't going to save us. Yeah. The universe is over here going, man, why did you give up on yourself and hole up like a troll in a mountain hut? That's weird. I've got so many gifts for you. So as we go forward into this time frame, I would really love to hear about the miracles that you're seeing. I would love to hear about your angel encounters. Drop them on this thread. Drop those encounters on this thread. Even if you're not sure if it was an angel, drop the encounter, because I guarantee you, as you share this experience with other people, they are going to be able to share with you, oh my gosh, that happened to me, or I saw a being like that too, or I wasn't sure what I saw, but maybe it is an angel. Share your positive stories, gang. Because it's time that we as a human species, even though we are bags of water and chemicals, we are still a soul. And even though we're made up of billions of cells that somehow tied themselves all together to work as a unit, we are still working to become part of this big cosmic family that can't wait to have us. Actually, they think we're way cooler than we do, to be honest. So just drop those angels encounters if you actually have some or you think you have. And let's start to share the lighter side of 2022, the year of expansion, where we're not just expanding our mind or our consciousness, we're expanding our knowledge base to encompass everything and to take our place in the galactic family and to actually get out there and be the true spiritual beings that we are. So drop your stories of seeing angels here. I can't wait to read them, and I will see you next podcast.